Well, you got the biggest one.
Anybody else in the drink before we start? I had to bribe you somewhere to come.
Chocolate always, I say the same. I like it. He a man of his word, aren't you, Barn?
Sometimes.
You are.
Most of the time.
He said most.
I hope this works. I'm not. It says it's
All right, guys. Thank you for coming to hear our guest. She is an official from Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri. She came here specifically to speak to you guys. She has a long list of accomplishments that I cannot regurgitate as well as she can, of course. So I will say that she's a great mentor to one of your classmates. She's very gracious to come and speak to us today, and her name is Debbie Kriegshauser. Without further ado, Ms. Kriegshauser.
Good morning, and thanks for having me here. I'm very excited to be here. I met Kimmy. I call her Kimmy, so I don't know if I'm calling her by the wrong name, but I met Kimmy in Nashville 3 or 4 years ago, maybe? 2013. And she attended one of my seminars that I put on for NCRA for the student seminars, Good Reporter, Bad Reporter, which we are repeating again this year in New Orleans, Louisiana, on August 2nd through the 5th. So her and I met there, and we just kind of bonded, and she became one of my mentees. I'm a student mentor for NCRA, and which is a great program that you guys ought to consider, and we'll talk about that more later. But I'll tell you a little bit of background about myself. I currently work as a federal official in St. Louis, Missouri, for the Eastern District of Missouri, it's considered. And I have been there since 2002 as a federal official. Before that, I was a freelance reporter. I started back in 1980, not to date myself or anything, but I was a freelance reporter for 25 years and kind of overlapped with federal court. The fields are amazing, whether you're an official reporter or a freelance reporter, but there's pros and cons to both sides. So we'll discuss that in a little bit. As a freelance reporter, I also got to dabble a little bit into the closed captioning world. A friend of mine brought me into our Channel 5, KSDK, NBC News Network, and we got to caption. First we started off with the Thanksgiving Day Parade, which was a lot of fun, and then we got to caption the presidential elections. So I got to do President Clinton's acceptance speech when he was appointed president. So I did that, captioning that on Channel 5 in St. Louis. So that was really exciting. And then the Pope came to town, to St. Louis. And I got to help with that, but I went on the circuit. It was 24-hour coverage. I did the circuit during the night where nobody looks at it. It was so hard and so difficult because they talk about all the history of Rome. They talk about altars and churches that were made all over the United States and the world. And they talk about this pristine marble and all these different churches, what the material is that these churches are made out of. And it was like, oh my gosh, this was a challenge. I'm telling you, court reporting is a challenge no matter where you are in life, how many years you've been working, it will always be a challenge. You never finish learning in this field. So always keep that in mind, that if you feel like, oh, well, I don't know this kind of terminology, I don't know that terminology, you're never going to know everything. So just face it that you're always going to come across words, vocabulary, terminology you're just not going to be familiar with, and you get over those hurdles. Hence we write for sound. And I already broke a cardinal rule because I heard my phone go off. Turn that off. Hurry. But it's a challenging field, but it's fun too. Also, as I freelanced, I got approached about going to a college for a deaf student. They just wanted me to show the technology of cart reporting. So this was an hour away from where I live, and I said I'd be happy to drive out there and show the school what capabilities we have for cart reporting. So I drove out to Centralia, Illinois, and I set up, and the administration was like, I don't know about this, and I set up my equipment, the court reporting machine, the laptop and everything, and I did a presentation. And the family came in, the parents of this deaf child, and said, well, I don't know, maybe it would work. And so, like I said, I was just there to do a presentation, gave the presentation, packed up, and went on home. I got called a couple days later. The family loves that. They really want this for their student. Can you do it? Because there's nobody out. This is a very rural area. So then for 2 years, I drove every day to this college, an hour away, and did cart reporting for a student who decided to get a degree in agriculture. So we did everything in agriculture. We learned how to deliver calves, how to deliver little piggies, horses, you name it, we did it. And I'm going to tell you, my steno dictionary did not contain a lot of this terminology. So hence, you're getting the books ahead of time, you're making job dictionaries, you know what chapter the instructor's going to go over for the next day, so you're constantly putting in more terminology to cover that. We also had a small engines class, so we learned how to fix lawnmowers if the string breaks out and you have to take the engine apart. So that was another class, small engine repair. It was a challenge. I'm going to tell you, it was a challenge. And we laughed because some days the instructor would come up, oh, we're going to watch a movie today. I don't feel like teaching, we're going to watch a movie. And I'm sitting there trying to write what this movie is being said on this movie, and I had nothing ahead of time. So we laughed at all the things that would come up untranslated, or they would turn up with something else. So it's not a perfect world. You're going to have bad days, and you're going to be writing and things don't translate. So, you know, don't ever think you have to be perfect. And I do know there are reporters out there that will tell you you have to be 100% perfect. But I'm here to tell you, you do not. It just doesn't happen. We are humans. We are not robots. So keep that in mind. Don't get yourself so discouraged over that. So I did the cart reporting for 2 years, then went back into freelance again, and then took the federal officialship. Why did I take the federal officialship? Well, for 25 years, I was working as a freelance reporter. You have 0 benefits. You have no insurance. You have no retirement. You have nothing. You're providing all your supplies, all your expenses, and you're driving from point A to point B every day. I loved freelance work. I could take a deposition at 10 o'clock in the morning. I have nothing in the afternoon. I can go grocery shopping. I can go to Target, get all the toiletry items. I can go blow the afternoon off and do whatever I want. Freelance, you got all the complain. So they said, okay, we have a deposition in Timbuktu. Let's send Debbie. She'll go. She won't complain. Everybody else will complain. So they would send me everywhere. And I didn't mind. I've done so many depositions in prisons, which is a pain in the royal rump, because you have to go through security access. They're constantly taking everything away from you, including your tripod. A tripod could be a weapon, if you didn't know that. So they will take your tripod away in prison. And so you just have to learn to set it on a tabletop or whatever. But they go through, they won't let you take your purse into the prison, because you might have a ballpoint pen or something that somebody could poke somebody's eye out with. So I've done a lot of the out of the ordinary. And then one day we decided to take a deposition of an elderly person who could not make the trip into a law firm, so we went to his house. They have no air conditioning, and it had to be like the hottest day of the year, so we decided, let's take this deposition in the backyard. You know, we could sit under a tree. So they have lawn chairs out there. Now this goes back to the machine with the paper notes, okay? So I'm out there taking this deposition of this elderly person, and a wind starts to turn up. Here goes the paper out of the paper tray all over this guy's lawn. Well, so believe me, when it came to the paperless machines and doing the real-time right on your laptop, best improvement ever. So there are very unusual jobs. Another one I did was barge line. We had to take deposition of some barge workers. Well, people that work on a barge line, they're gone for like 30 to 60 days at a time on the river. So when they get to a certain port and they need a deposition, you meet those people at that port and you go on the barge where they're working. So that was another interesting situation where I was on this barge line taking this deposition. So freelance is great because you get all of that. It's not predictable where you're going to be, whereas officialship, you're at the same courthouse every day, but I'm not driving anywhere else. My car stays in the garage all day, and I go to the same courtroom every day, or I go to another courtroom if I'm covering for somebody else. So that's the difference between the two. You know, your travel goes away, and if you do freelance and you're traveling, you gotta make sure you log all your miles for everything. That is all tax deductible, and people don't go to the trouble because they don't want to do it. That's a huge tax deduction, is your mileage for freelance work. Or if you're riding the train, all your train tickets or the bus tickets, however, whatever mode of transportation, you have to keep all of those expenses. It's a lot of expense writing, itemization for tax return purposes. So keep that in mind. And even as an officialship, in federal court, we are provided a desk and a telephone. We provide everything else. That's federal court, okay? So we provide our own writer, we provide our own laptop, the software program we use, we're not limited. Federal court, you can use whatever program you want to use, but we have to pay for that ourselves. Paper, if we print, we're getting to the point now, we don't print transcripts anymore. Those attorneys have caught on. I want it electronically because, you know, if I get that electronic copy, I can forward that on to all my expert witnesses and they can read it right away and they can get back to me the next day if they have any questions. So that paper copy transcript is going by the wayside. But electronic media has really picked up, and our career is changing constantly, as you see with technology, whether it's the writer, the recorders, the printers, just everything. Our technology has changed in so many ways over the years. So I've done the captioning, I've done the court reporting, freelance work, and now I'm federal official. And I've gotten involved in a lot of associations. Oh, let me go back to state court first. State court now, in our state of Missouri and Illinois too, state court will provide a lot of your things that you need. They might provide your writer. They might provide the software, and I think all of them provide the software. But guess what? It's the software that they get a deal on. So if you're an Eclipse user, you're going to be using Case Catalyst. If you're a Case Catalyst user, you're probably going to be using Eclipse. It's whatever the court administrator for that courthouse, who is not a court reporter at all normally, whatever they choose. And believe me, you know Stenograph's going to be knocking on their door, Eclipse is going to be knocking on their door, ProCat saying, hey, we got the best deal for you, buy our software program. And that's exactly what happens. So if you go to state court position, you're probably going to apply, and then you're going to find out, and this is the software that we use here. So be aware of that. That's usually state court, because they provide it for you, so you're going to use what they buy. And sometimes they provide your machine, some do, some don't. I kind of like it where you have your own machine. You get used to the touch of your machine, you really do. You know, using another machine all of a sudden, it just doesn't seem right. So all these little factors you want to keep in mind when you get to the point of you're applying for jobs. And I understand too, we have voice writers in here, and I welcome you as well. So if this doesn't apply to you, just ignore it, but welcome voice writers as well. We have voice writers in Missouri, but our state is really divided on voice writers. And my point that I really like to emphasize is we're all here for one mission, and that is to make a record. And we want to make a perfect record, whether you're a voice writer or a steno writer. I'm here to tell you we just need to make a perfect record and make a good record. Now in Missouri, we have two sides. We have the Eastern District and we have the Western District. Eastern District is St. Louis, Western District is Kansas City. On the Kansas City side, we have a lot of voice writers. On the Eastern District side, we do not. And it's just a general area of knowledge, you know. On the Kansas City side, voice writers really seem to be accepted and they like them. On the St. Louis side, you just don't see voice writers. The judges don't like, they think it's distracting, they don't like the mask, attorneys complain about it, so it's hard to find a job in the St. Louis area. But if you came to Missouri and you go to the Kansas City area, there's openings. So it's really, you know, what preference people like. But I welcome both sides here to the table. So I've gotten involved in a lot of state associations. Of course, I'm involved with NCRA, which is the National Court Reporters Association. I'm currently one of their certified test graders and have been for quite a while. I grade a lot of tests. And I understand you folks are on the My Real-Time Coach. You can take that as your test capabilities. Please, I'm so elated that you're doing that and that you learn how to upload your test and everything, because I can tell you there's students out there that cannot upload a test for nothing. And when they came out with this testing protocol, if you couldn't upload your test, it was supposed to be an automatic failure. Well, they decided to choose me and say, Debbie, this student messed up, can't load their test. Will you try to see what you can do with it, and if you can make it, grade it, send it in. I get a lot of those. I don't know if I've become now the NCRA problem child where people can't upload tests, but I'm getting them uploaded, I'm opening them, I'm grading them, and I can tell you a lot of these are passing tests. Now remember, that was supposed to be automatic failure when they came out with this protocol. So please, please learn to upload those tests to My Real-Time Coach, because I would hate to see anybody have a perfect test like that and then it can't be uploaded, it can't be graded, and then it's just an automatic fail. So I applaud you guys for being on My Real-Time Coach and knowing how to do that protocol. I was involved with the Illinois Court Reporters Association, and I've been past president for 2 years of Illinois. I'm involved with the Missouri Court Reporters Association, and now as a federal official, I'm on the United States Court Reporters Association, and I'm on their board, and I represent the 8th Circuit rep. And 8th Circuit covers 5 states. We have, I just became appointed in October, so we have Missouri, we have Kansas, we go down into Arkansas, and I have the Dakotas. So it's kind of exciting to do that and meet everybody from around the world, or around the United States anyway. But I have to tell you, if you're really serious about this field, get involved with your state and national associations. You keep hitting these plateaus. I know everyone in here has. I did too. When you're in court reporting school, you hit those plateaus. But join as a student member to these organizations, because even if you get the magazine, you're going to see a story in it, and somebody's going to write something, you're going to say, oh, I was there, oh, I know what they mean, I know what they're talking about. You know, it's kind of a little boost. Also the conventions, you know, I know they're costly. Believe me, I know they're very costly. And I've put on many conventions, and people don't understand the expenses behind the scene. You know, to put a convention on, you have to order coffee and drinks and everything. Coffee is $60 a gallon at a convention. I've seen the reports, and I'm like, people don't see what the other expenses are. They just think, oh my gosh, $500 for this convention registration. You know, this is outrageous. You know, it's not. NCRA, your state associations, they are not gigging you. They are not trying to make you poor. It is the reality of the expenses behind the scenes. Every one of those tables that are set up, you know, there's a charge for every table. If this was a convention room, there would be a charge for every chair in here, every table. So there's a lot of expenses that attendees don't see at all. So just keep that in mind, but consider it an investment in your career. It is a great investment. It's a motivating factor. It's a boost of energy. When you think, I can't go anymore, I just want to quit, I can't get this speed, I'm telling you, when you start hanging around the halls with all these other court reporters, and Kim can attest to this, and from all over, you're going to get that boost of energy. When you get back home, I don't know what it is, you just feel this boost. Even as a working reporter, you really do. You just feel this boost of energy that I can do this, I can do this. And there's always a motivational speaker at the seminar, so you're going to go see that. And it's really a great thing to do. And my Kimmy, I'm a student mentor for Kimmy, and I am giving her, she brought me here, by the way, you know, she's the reason that I'm here. If I didn't have her as my mentee, I wouldn't be here today. So I'm giving Kim a convention registration for New Orleans for bringing me here. So, and she's gonna pass, she's gonna get there. So, with that, other motivating factors that I found when I was in school. How many in here have access to the JCR magazine? Couple? You know, if you join, remember, there's student rates versus working reporter rates. Boy, once you're a working reporter, those rates really go up, but take advantage of all these student rates. There's a lot of things you can gain from the JCR. So when I was in court reporting school, I'm like, what can get me through this? You know, I'm just so frustrated, and there's no light at the end of this tunnel. So I would get the magazines and I would start looking at the job postings. And then I would decide, whoa, there's a job in Hawaii. Oh, there's a job in Florida. That was my motivating factor. I have to be honest with you. It was the little mind games. Because I'm telling you people, it's in your mind. Your fingers will move however fast you want them to move. And if you all go like this, they move very fast. You know, you want to be accurate. It's in your mind. You have to train your mind to get over that hurdle that you can do this. It's all a motivational thing. But I'm going to pass some of these around, and these are job postings, okay? And some of them have figures. And then I'm going to pass around what the federal salaries are. This is public knowledge, people. This is not hidden. You just look at anywhere on here. I have like 3 copies of this. And it posts what our current salaries are in federal court. So maybe you want to look at federal court. However, I will tell you, if you're looking at federal court, we do have high standards because it's the best of the best. You know, and it doesn't matter really how many years you're working. It's those certifications. That's what they're looking at. They really don't care how many years you've been a reporter. You come out of here and you have your RPR and you get that CRR. Oh, you're right. You're at the top of the list already. Okay? Now, I went to federal court, and I was just getting my CRR at the time. And so I was taking the test, and I went for it. I passed it. It was a 5% increase in my salary by having the CRR. So then they said, well, if you want to get the RMR, it's another 5%. So I went and got the RMR. It was incentive. So my salary went up 10% just with those 2 licenses after I started in federal court. So I'm just going to pass these around for you to look at, and there's multiple copies, so just pass it on if you already saw that copy. And these are just job postings, and you can look at it and you can say, wow, that would be neat to work there. But sometimes it's little motivational things like that. Just seeing like, oh wow, this would be a great place to work. And that's how I got myself through court reporting school. It's like, oh yes, I want to work there. And then I got this bright idea that I want to work at the Capitol. That's my goal. I want to work in Washington, D.C. at the Capitol. Well, now today I look at it, and if you saw the State of the Union or address the other night, and the court reporter was in front of President Trump sitting right there, I'm like, ooh, I'm kind of glad I didn't go that route, but whatever. But I will tell you now, if you are interested in that job, it's a team of court reporters. You have to be CRR certified, and they switch off every 20 minutes because they provide a transcript that very day. So if it's something that would interest you, that's also something to think about. I'm currently on the Student Affairs Committee and Student Teacher Committee. So hence, that's why I'm back in New Orleans doing our skit that Kim got to see, Good Reporter, Bad Reporter, or I think at that time we called it Deal or No Deal, because that's when the TV show Deal or No Deal was very popular. But we're doing that at the convention for the student seminars, and we have a lot of neat things planned. We just put that program together last Wednesday. So I think you'll find it very exciting if you come for the student sessions at NCRA's convention in August. Like I said, getting involved really motivates you, even if you get involved as a student mentor. Like even on NCRA's committees, they have students that are committee members on certain of the committees. Look at something like that. It does motivate you because you're involved with court reporters and students from all across the country. The Student Teacher Committee, we have 2 students on that committee. And I believe they're in Florida, both of them. But it's exciting. Get yourself involved. It's a motivational thing. Okay? So let me open it up to you, what you would like to hear, or what I can talk about with you. I know some of you need to leave for lunch or whatever, or I can just keep talking about different things. Anybody have any questions? Also want to cover a little bit on professionalism. You know, you got to dress the part. If you have, I know you have court reporters in this area, and I know a lot of the court reporters in this area have been past NCRA board members, even presidents. They're right here in Atlanta. I'm good. I have one. Thank you. Call these court reporting firms. Go out with a reporter, even if you don't write anything. You know, just the idea of they have the top of the art school here. You really do, because mine was not like this at all. So commend you on that. And the student enrollment, my gosh, I'm astonished with the student enrollment. So we need you. We need all of you. We need each one of you to finish, because I'm telling you, there's a lot of people my age. We are all getting ready to retire. And it's almost to the point that we need to find a person to replace us with, because if we don't, we're going to be replaced by electronic recording. And we don't want to see that happen. And the only thing that saves us, you know, with the captioning field as well, is all the issues that happen, last minute news feeds, you know, like we had the shooting yesterday in Florida. I mean, it's all these last minute stories. They need us. They need our live bodies. They need our real time in court. The judges love the real time in court. And don't be scared by real time. Yes, you want to be accurate, but again, you have good days, you have bad days. And I have a very close relationship with my judge, and he doesn't hesitate to tell me, well, Deb, I think you're having a bad day today, it's not looking too good. And you know what, I don't mind, because I tell him, have you listened to how fast these witnesses are speaking? These expert witnesses on the stand are just lying. Now in federal court, we have to tape record everything. So it's great, because they look at it as if, you know, you get hit by a bus, you know, you have a car crash and you get killed. We need that record. So it's mandatory. We have to tape everything ourselves. We have to provide the equipment and do it ourselves and keep all our electronic copies. But so I will admit, you know, here I am on live recording here, but yeah, you have bad times, and sometimes it gets too fast, and I got to go back to that recording to see, did I get that right? Yeah, I do that. I'll admit it, because I'm human. So, yes. So, dress the part. If you have the chance to go out with a court reporter in the Atlanta area, or you're doing an internship, dress the part, folks. You know, I'm excited to say that I'll have people that will go to court with me, St. Louis students, and sometimes they walk in and they think they're the attorneys for the case. You know, they dress so amazing. That's awesome. You gotta dress the part. You got to make them think that you are the reporter or you're an attorney. You know what you're doing. Yeah. If you show up not dressed to the part, you know, they're going to think, okay, well, how far is this student? You know, is it a brand new student or what? You know, could you tell them to dress a little nicer? Or sometimes it's like, how about them sitting in the gallery? You'll see that where they just set up their machine and they sit in the gallery, which, you know, court is open to anybody, so you could do that if you wanted to. But you want to be quiet about it. Generally, I think it's nicer to ask. If you do get a wild idea to do that, which is nothing against it, I would just at least ask Chambers if it's okay if you sat in the back and you didn't make any noise, or But that is an option, because court is open, it's open court. Okay? Any questions on anything?
I have a
Yes.
question. With real time, do I need to have two computers to provide real time?
Now, in federal court, so I'm gonna do both now. Federal court, we hook up to our system to the judge, and then if the attorneys want it, ching, that's extra money. So then, we provide a line feed to their laptops. They bring their own laptops. And then I've been using StenoCast, which now StenoCast just went out of business, apparently. But I've been using StenoCast because it's wireless, and I load the software on the attorney's laptops, and then I give them a little dongle that they put in their USB port, and then they get they wirelessly get the transmission from my laptop computer to theirs. But it's amazing because it's money. Yes?
Oh, how, if you're sending the transcripts electronically, how you getting paid for the pages, for the transcripts?
Oh,
If
it
you're
doesn't
sending them
matter.
electronically.
It doesn't matter whether it's electronic or paper. It's per page.
Oh, we still count
It's
that?
still per page.
Oh, okay, okay.
great.
That's
It's
like,
great.
you won't get nothing.
Yeah, it saves on toner, saves on paper. Yeah.
So what about when the attorney sends it to his witnesses?
Well, we don't know that. We don't want to know. Because you know that's what they're doing, and that's why they're not fighting us on, well, you're not printing this, you're not binding it, you're not using covers anymore, because we had to buy covers, you had to have your name on the cover, you know, those covers are expensive. You know, it's all little things. Now, I still have those, because every now and then, you'll have an older attorney who shows up to court, and he never did get into this electronic media stuff. Oh, no, print that. Or you are going to have family members. This is freelance, our official. You're going to have family members that order things, and they need a transcript. In fact, we usually have the people come to the courthouse and pay for the transcript, and then you hand the transcript over to them. So you're still printing transcripts at times, but not on a regular basis. But yes, it is per page. And even when you're doing those real-time feeds to the attorneys, it's per page. Yes, and some trials, we do a lot of patent work, and some trials, by the time you add up everything, you're getting like 15, 55 a page, one page. And then that was a real-time job right there at 281 pages at $15 a page. It's nice. Yes.
Is there such thing as like you're on vacation in Alaska, visiting a friend, and you wanted to do some work, did you, or no?
It depends on where you're working. As a federal reporter now, we are not allowed to do anything else but our job at federal court. Now, I did start off as a job share person, who was the best of both worlds. I job shared with another reporter who only wanted to be there half-time, part-time, so I filled in the other part-time. They called me and asked me if I would be interested, and that's how I really got my foot in the door. So as I was doing that part-time job, I could work in federal court my 2 days and every other Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, I could freelance. So it was great. So, you know, I had insurance coming in, I had retirement, I had everything, and I was still freelancing, and then doing the federal officialship. But once I became full-time, I can no longer. The only thing I can do on the outside as a federal reporter, I can do captioning, like for church, or those type of events. I can do that, but I can't do anything else. Freelance, of course, you know, you have your own.
You made reference to keeping or recording your sessions.
Mm-hmm.
How long do you have to house or store those?
Well,
sessions?
that's another technology change. You know, we were on 8 tracks, we were on cassette tapes years ago, and I started where that's what we had is cassette tapes. You should see the boxes and boxes of cassette tapes I have at the courthouse right now. I mean, we're talking mega paper boxes that are just full of cassette tapes. Now everything's on an SD card. I probably have an entire year of transcripts on an SD card that goes like into your camera. Everything's on that, so it's nothing.
Okay, that's good.
Yes.
What about the exhibits?
The exhibits we don't keep. The attorneys always keep the exhibits. Deposition, when you take a deposition, now they like to have the exhibits attached to the transcript, so they might give them to you. You have to go to Kinko's, or if you have your own copy facility at your firm, You make copies of them to attach to the back of everything. In court, you don't. You only transcribe what gets ordered. So I've been sitting in court a lot, twiddling my thumbs because I got nothing to work on, and it gets kind of boring. But when you're doing freelance depositions, that all gets transcribed, pretty much. So that's another factor to keep in mind. So you can get behind. Believe me, I've gotten behind before on freelance pages, whereas court, I just work at the courthouse. I'm not working on anything on the weekends. I'm not working on anything at night. When I freelance, oh my God. Remind you, when you freelance, that is your bread and butter. That transcript is your bread and butter. So when you're going on vacation, I hate to say it, you haul it with you. You just do. You know, it's just a fact of life, because you feel guilty when you're taking vacation or you go on an extended trip. It's like, oh my God, I'm not having any money coming in because I'm not working on my pages. So you find yourself taking it with you. And I was married to a court reporter, so that was even worse, because we went on vacation. What are we doing? Okay, we get up early in the morning and we do so many pages, and then in the afternoon we go do fun stuff. You know, it's like, oh, now I don't do any of that. I don't do any of that. I just work at the courthouse and that's it. So there's all these little factors, but freelance is great. You've got job security there too. You have flexibility with your schedule. Now, oh my gosh, my weekends are horrible though, because now it's like, oh, I know we need groceries. Oh, I know we need this. I got to go to the store. Yeah, I've been wanting to get to Talbot's or Kohl's and get this and this. My weekend's just consumed right now. You know, you come home from work, you don't want to do that at night. You're too tired because you've been there. My hours are 7:30 to 4, so I'm at work at 7:30. And then I get off at 4 and I get home, make dinner, and then it's like, okay, I don't feel like going to the store. So it's all weekend as I'm doing errands. Whereas freelance, oh my gosh, I was out in the depot, I'd stop at the store, get this. Oh, I got a birthday gift to go. Yeah, I'll go to the mall and go get that birthday gift. So it's two different realms, freelance versus official. And you gotta know what's right for you. You really do. And I don't regret being a freelance reporter for 25 years. I loved it. And like I said, I wouldn't have got to do all those unusual job assignments everywhere I went. And then, oh, the coolest thing, I have to tell you about this too. So as I was freelancing, we got a call one day in our agency, and they needed a reporter to do the senior PGA golf tournament. And they've called everywhere, and everybody's turned them down. And my husband at the time said, my wife's crazy enough, she'll do it. I know she will. So he tells me about it. He goes, the senior PGA wants to know if you'll go out and do interviews with the players as they come off the course. I'm like, yeah, it's not too bad. And but they don't want to pay you. But they'll give you 4 passes for all 4 days, and you'll have your station set up in the media room. But you know what? I'm like, how cool would that look on a resume? I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. So I did. I don't get paid. And this is now a good hour outside of St. Louis, out in the rural part. And so they're bringing all these PGA golfers, and Arnold Palmer comes in. So I got to meet Arnold Palmer, and I bought, at the time, we had one of those pole flags, like in the gift shop, and I bought one of those. I have like 50 golfers' autographs on this flag. You know what? I didn't get paid for that job, but what I walked away with is priceless. Like somebody told me, they go, a friend of mine is involved in that, where you autograph stuff and everything. He goes, Debbie, I bet you got $27,000 sitting right there on your wall. You know, it's Arnold Palmer, it's Mike, or I can't even remember all the names. Chichi Rodriguez. A lot of these golfers aren't even alive anymore. You know, they were all there, and it was just, I thought it was just awesome just to meet Arnold Palmer. And it was so, but there was a lot of big names. Tom Watson, all those players. Yeah. Yeah, I got paid. So, but my family loved it because they took the passes and we're on the course. And then Anheuser-Busch sponsored the tournament, so they're giving away all these chairs, and Dirondack chairs, and all these coolers and everything. And on the earlier days in the week, nobody's there. So they're winning all the attendance prizes. So when we leave at night, after the golf took place, I would have to do the interviews, and I had to do transcripts of those interviews so they could use them on TV, the radio, and be able to quote them word for word. So, you know, we'd be leaving at 9 or 9:30 at night, and I'd walk outside, meet my brothers, and here they are with all this stuff. I go, what is this? We won this. We won this cooler. We won these chairs. I'm like, really? So they came out like bandits on this golf course. So anyway, that was another exciting time. So see, freelancing, you have those exciting times. You're not going to get that in official work. So, any questions at all? No? I hope I motivated you. You guys have got to finish. You have to become reporters because we need you. We so desperately need you. But there's going to be so, as you saw, the papers that went around. Did everybody get to see those job postings?
Yeah.
There's a job on each of those sheets that each one of you can fill. You know, there are so many reporter positions open. We need court reporters. We need you. You can do it. You can do it. You have to tell yourself in your mind, you can do it. If you're getting run down and thinking you can't do it, go attend something. Go out with another court reporter. It doesn't matter what speed you are. If you're at a lower speed, then just sit and observe. It's going to motivate you. I can't stress that enough. You can do things to pick yourself up. All right? Okay, you're all going to be done. No, we didn't put their names in.
Oh, what do you do with that now?
Can you all write your name on a piece of paper so that it's legible? We're going to have a drawing for some attendance prizes.
Oh. There
We
you
have
go.
lots of treats yet. Might have to